The Good Samaritan. One bright morning, Jesus was teaching a crowd when a man stood up and asked, "Teacher, what must I do to have eternal life?" Jesus smiled gently and asked, "What does the law say?" The man replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and love your neighbor as yourself." "Exactly," Jesus said. "Do that, and you'll live." But the man wasn't satisfied. He asked again, "And who exactly is my neighbor?" So Jesus told him a story, one that still teaches us today. There once was a man traveling from Jerusalem down to Jericho. It was a long, dusty road winding through rocky hills, the kind of place where robbers like to hide. As the man walked, suddenly, out of nowhere, a group of thieves jumped out. They tore his clothes, took his money, and left him on the side of the road, hurt and barely able to move. Hours passed. The sun was hot, and the road was empty, until a priest came walking by. He saw the man lying there, bleeding and weak. But instead of helping, the priest crossed to the other side of the road and hurried past. Maybe he didn't want to get dirty. Maybe he was too busy. But either way, he didn't stop. A little later, another man came by, a Levite, someone who worked in the temple. Surely he would help, right? But when he saw the injured man, he too stepped aside and kept walking. Finally, a third traveler came along, a Samaritan. Now, in those days, Jews and Samaritans didn't get along at all. Most people thought they were too different to even speak to one another. But when the Samaritan saw the man lying there, something stirred inside him, compassion. He hurried over, knelt beside him, and gently cleaned his wounds with oil and wine. Then he lifted the man onto his donkey and took him to an inn. He stayed up that night to make sure the man was okay. The next morning, the Samaritan gave the innkeeper his own money and said, "Please take care of him. If it costs more, I'll pay you when I come back." When Jesus finished the story, he turned to the man and asked, "Now, which of these three do you think was a neighbor to the one who was hurt?" The man answered quietly, "The one who showed mercy." And Jesus said, "Go and do the same." That's what love without limits looks like. It doesn't stop at what's easy. It doesn't ask, who deserves it? Love helps. Love sees. Love acts. It's holding the door for someone who's having a hard day. It's sharing your lunch with a friend who forgot theirs. It's standing up for someone who's being treated unfairly. Because being a neighbor isn't about where someone lives. It's about how you love. And every time we choose kindness, every time we help someone who's hurting, we become a little more like the Good Samaritan and a lot more like Jesus.